Hello guys, welcome to African Heroes channel. On this channel I tell you what you don't know about the African heroes. Before I do tell you about the hero of today, if you love to know more about the African heroes, you love to be African. If you are watching me on Facebook, don't forget to follow my page, like, comment and share this video so that others can also know about the African heroes. Also, if you are watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share and also turn on the notification bell to always be notified once I upload any new video about any African hero. In today's video, the hero on my list is, relax, grab the glass and I'll tell you. Today I'll be telling you about Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. Mandela was born into the Madiba clan in the village of Mvezo, in the Eastern Cape of South Africa on the 18th of July 1918. His mother was Nonkafi Nosekeni and his father was Nkosi Fakaniazwagadla Mandela, principal counselor to the acting king of the Thembu people, Jongintaba Dalindyebo of South Africa. Mandela grew up in poverty. He grew up with two sisters in his mother's kraal in the village of Kunu, where he herds as a cattle boy and spent much time outside with other boys. Both his parents were illiterate, but his mother, being a devout Christian, sent him to a local Methodist school when he was about 7. Mandela also attended Helltown Comprehensive School 1937-1939, then his father died and he went to live with his uncle who wanted to marry him off to one of the village girls. But Nelson had other plans. He ran away to the big city of Johannesburg where young Nelson was raised by Jongintaba, the regent of the Thembu. Nelson renounced his claim to the chieftainship to become a lawyer, where he also attended South African Native College, later in 1939 to 1940 the University of Fort Hare, and studied law at the University of the Witwatersrand. 1943 to 1949 he later passed the qualification exam to become a lawyer. In 1944 he joined the African National Congress (ANC), a black liberation group, and became a leader of its youth league. That same year he met and married Evelyn Ntoko Mays. Mandela subsequently held other ANC leadership positions, through which he helped revitalize the organization and oppose the apartheid policies of the ruling National Party. And it was there that he began to oppose the apartheid form of government, which means apartness. Nelson also attended the University of London worldwide. One of his legacies is the founding of the Mandela Institute for Education and Rural Development. The institute was set up to help provide quality education for children in impoverished rural areas where infrastructure does not support it. The institute works with communities to refurbish schools and train teachers. Mandela, affectionately known as Madiba, his Xhosa clan name, fought against the racist apartheid system in his homeland, and for equality and freedom for all people. Nelson Mandela (1918–2013) is the former South African president and a courageous leader who dedicated his life to ending apartheid and building a free, multiracial and democratic South Africa and, by example, a more equal world. Mandela immersed himself in official talks to end white minority rule, and in 1991 he was elected ANC president to replace his ailing friend, Oliver Tambo. In 1993 Mandela and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Peace Prize, and on the 27th of April 1994 he was voted for the first time in his life. He fought for peace and justice around the world. Mandela was the leading figure in the fight against South Africa's racist apartheid system, but his activism didn't stop at his home country's borders. After retiring as president, Mandela worked to educate people about the HIV/AIDS crisis in Africa. He will be remembered for his struggle and leadership for freedom, equality, truth, love, peace and justice. He inspired many of us through his life, struggle, words and deeds, as he walked the walk as well as talking the talk, unlike many compatriots who manipulate similar ideals for self-aggrandizement. Nelson Mandela changed South African laws in favor of race relations, so that every South African citizen would have rights and equal opportunity. Mandela is honored with the 1993 Nobel Peace Prize along with Frederick Willem Dr. Klerk for the joint effort in the peaceful termination of the apartheid regime. Mandela also argued that all nonviolent means had been tried and that they had resulted only in mounting restrictions and reduced freedom for the African people. Mandela was without a doubt an incredibly courageous man. In fact, he was so courageous he was willing to die for his belief that every man should have equal rights and freedoms. Although he escaped the death penalty, he was forced to endure 27 years behind bars for standing up for what he believed in. As a leader, South African President Nelson Mandela demonstrated remarkable leadership qualities, including advocacy for peace, powerful presence that disarmed enemies with his smile, high level of forgiveness, positive thinking, ability to see the big picture, focus on goals and missions beyond himself. Remarkable. Nelson Mandela incarceration. Robben Island Prison. From 1964 to 1982 Mandela was incarcerated at Robben Island Prison, off Cape Town. He was subsequently kept at the maximum security Pollsmoor Prison until 1988, when, after being treated for tuberculosis, he was transferred to Victor Verster Prison near Paarl. The South African government periodically made conditional offers of freedom to Mandela, most notably in 1976, on the condition that he recognized the newly independent, and highly controversial, status of the Transkei Bantustan and agreed to reside there. An offer made in 1985 required that he renounce the use of violence. Mandela refused both offers, the second on the promise that only free men were able to engage in such negotiations and, as a prisoner, he was not a free man. Throughout his incarceration, Mandela retained wide support among South Africa's black population, and his imprisonment became a cause célèbre among the international community that condemned apartheid. As South Africa's political situation deteriorated after 1983, and particularly after 1988, he was engaged by ministers of P.W. Botha's government in exploratory negotiations. He met with Botha's successor, de Klerk, in December 1989. In October 1963 the imprisoned Mandela and several other men were tried for sabotage, treason, and violent conspiracy in the infamous Rivonia trial, named after a fashionable suburb of Johannesburg where raiding police had discovered quantities of arms and equipment at the headquarters of the underground Umkhonto we Sizwe. Mandela's speech from the dock, in which he admitted the truth of some of the charges made against him, was a classic defense of liberty and defiance of tyranny. His speech garnered international attention and acclaim and was published later that year as I Am Prepared to Die. On June 12, 1964, he was sentenced to life imprisonment, narrowly escaping the death penalty. What does Nelson Mandela stand for today? Nelson Mandela's staunch efforts against apartheid, racism and social injustice rightly radiate far beyond the continent of Africa. He is a global icon, among other things because he showed that hatred cannot be overcome by hatred but by empathy.